All right, welcome back, class. Now let's talk about the real history of science per Thomas Kuhn. The sciences systematically misrepresent their history. They present in a cumulative, triumphalist way. Kuhn went so far as to describe the history of science that is taught to scientists as a kind of brainwashing. Normal science is governed by a paradigm. A paradigm is, first and foremost, an object of consensus. People agree to the paradigm. Exemplary illustrations of how scientific work is done are particularly important components of the paradigm. Scientific education is governed more by examples than by rules or methods. Normal science consists of problem solving. The paradigm identifies puzzles, governs expectations, assures scientists that each puzzle has a solution, and provides standards for evaluating those solutions. 2. The paradigm is assumed to be correct. Normal science involves showing how nature can be fitted into categories provided by the paradigm. Most of this work is detailed oriented. 3. The paradigm tests scientists more than scientists test the paradigm. A failure to solve the puzzle reflects on the scientist's skill, not on the legitimacy of the problem. So what happens when there is a crisis? But normal science has an important Popperian virtue, a remarkable power to undermine itself. A crisis occurs when a paradigm loses its grip on a scientific community. A crisis, according to Kuhn, results from anomalies, puzzles that have repeatedly resisted solution. B. A crisis is a crisis of confidence. It is constituted by the reaction of the scientific community. They are losing confidence in their current paradigm. C. During such a crisis, the paradigm is subjected to testing and might be rejected. D. Popper's mistake, according to Kuhn, is to have mistaken crisis science for normal science. Science could not achieve what it does if it were in crisis all the time. E. Sometimes a new paradigm becomes ascendant. If this happens, a scientific revolution has taken place. So, how does Kuhn answer the charge that his normal science is bad science? A. For Kuhn, dogmatism, crisis, and revolution are not failings of scientific rationality, but enablers of scientific success. B. Periods of crisis, sometimes followed by drastic rule changes, are crucial for inquiry, as long as they do not happen too frequently. A fire. Quick little analogy here. Oftentimes we hear about people setting fires. Authorities setting fires to stop a fire, for one thing. Two fires in a great forest meet, they sort of peter out. But also, one of the things can happen. I have a neighbor, Ron. Years ago, we lived next to each other. We don't live next to each other now, but years ago, we lived next to each other. And he had found this old smoke bomb one day. My wife and I were out away for a while. We come to our driveway and we see our yard is totally blackened. Apparently, he found this old smoke bomb and he thought he had put it out. Some flame flew over to our yard and caught the yard on fire. Nothing bad happened. But I can tell you one thing after that, though. After that, we had some very pretty grass. The fire did something to the soil. It enriched it somehow. It made it better. So what I bring this analogy up for is simply saying this. Sometimes as something is ripped down, a new paradigm comes into place, it serves a better future for us because it can do things, hopefully, that the previous paradigm was not able to accomplish. So these things sometimes can seem bad or bad science, but they sometimes can have some really good results. So what we're going to be talking about next in chapter 3, in this very short lecture here, we'll be talking about the end of the philosophy of science part. We'll end it with chapter 3. We'll be looking at lactose and firebrand, particularly, Lakatos will disagree wholeheartedly with the irrationality proposed by Kuhn. He offers a new version of Popper's falsificationism. On the other hand, Firebrand, he will embrace Kuhn's irrationality. He loves it. Firebrand's sort of an off-kilter guy compared to the others that we've seen so far. He will be trying to break the mold about how science progresses, about throwing out the rules, doing your own thing, and that type of stuff. So we'll see more of that in Chapter 3. But that'll be it for Chapter 2 today.